Welcome to Conversations on the Coast, San Francisco's premier author interview program. And this is a day of first for us. The first is the first time that we've done a book that has crap in the title. And the second first is that it's the first time we will show you our skill as an investigative reporter and get the true answer to the question, how do cartoons get selected for the New Yorker magazine? Now, why is this possible today? Because the book today is called The Rejection Collection, Volume 2, The Cream of the Crap. More cartoons you've never seen and never will see in the New Yorker. It's edited by our guest, Matthew Diffee, and it's published by Simon Spotlight Entertainment. And notice this, an imprint of Simon & Schuster. Did I get it all in?
Yeah, I think you did. It's amazing.
Yeah, I work on these things.
Yeah.
This is called preparation. Some time ago, a fellow that you mentioned in the book, Bob Mankoff, who presents himself as the cartoon editor of the New Yorker magazine, I did an interview with him over the phone. And he told me all the things he does, and it was when you were putting out that magnum opus of collection of cartoons all in the history of the New Yorker. And he said, I'm the one who takes care to see what cartoons get in the New Yorker. A couple of months after that, I had an opportunity to interview David Remnick, who purports to be the publisher of New Yorker.
Well, the editor, yeah.
The editor, I'm sorry. And I was, kind of bragging, I had, Bob Mankoff on, and he's the one who does your cartoons. And he says, no, he's not. I choose the cartoons. So when you came by and you gave us this book, I went right to the first page. Yeah. And here you tell us what actually happens. This is the truth. On Tuesday, we cartoonists, our batch of 10 ideas into the office or fax them, depending on where we live and how social we're feeling. Bob Mankoff, our cartoon editor, looks them over and selects a stack to present to David Remnick, the editor of the New Yorker. This happens on Wednesdays in the art meeting, where an undisclosed process. That's the part that's really intriguing. The undisclosed process, which may or may not involve the use of darts, darts, results in the selection of the 15 to 20 gags the magazine will purchase that week. Now, that's 15 or 20 out of how many?
Well, Bob says he looks at 1,000. And
I don't know if it's 1,000?
Well, I know there's 50 or so regular guys that are, and gals that are in, periodically, and they're all doing 10 a week, so that's 500 right there, and that's not counting any of the, the unsolicited
the out group that might be trying to get in for the first time.
Right.
Yeah, okay. On Thursday, a lucky few cartoonists get phone calls telling them that they've sold one of their 10. The rest get rejected. This happens every week, and it's been going on for years.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it is the most important part of the magazine, because I don't care what the big brains tell you. The first thing everyone reads in the New Yorker are the cartoons.
And sometimes the last. And only, in my case, it comes every
This is
week.
true. There are weeks when,
it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, it really is. All those words.
Yeah.
You have to worry about all those words. Well, I think the only mystery left now is this undisclosed process.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten near that room at that time?
My whole side of it is just pitching to Bob. And then the other stuff, we've heard whispered rumors, and I think they've tried to get camera crews in there. But
is that where the dart possibility
I suspect
comes in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But is there a pope in this process? I mean, is Remnick right? He was kind of suggesting to me that he's more equal than all the other ones are.
Yes. Well, you got to think he is the head editor of the whole shebang, so you think he's probably the last word. And that's what Bob will tell you. And I don't know if it's true or if Bob's just trying to shirk the responsibility of crushing the dreams of so many cartoonists. But he will be quick to say, oh, it's actually Remnick's fault, in a way, that you didn't get picked this week. Or
the other thing that you let us know in the introduction is that you cartoonists are kind of up against it in the sense that New York is an august publication. It has offices. It has meetings.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. And a cartoonist doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, we're all alone out there in our little cartoonist studios.
And you go on to say that most cartoonists are very good at what they do, but they have little idea what they're doing.
Yeah. That's why when you ask a cartoonist, how do you come up with your ideas, they will often just kind of look at you with a pained expression on their face. Not because they're bored with the question, they just don't know how to answer it.
They have no idea.
Well, not really.
I don't know. I think they're being a little artiste, don't you?
Maybe. Sometimes you just get lucky. And something occurs to you that's funny.
Oh, my gosh. All right. The Rejection Collection, Volume 2, is not just a string of cartoons. Now, we've proven that to an extent already. It's a real investigation into the hearts and minds of cartoonists. Really? Yeah. Really. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Conversations on the Coast with Jim Foster. Now you can find this program on iTunes, SoundCloud, and all your favorite digital outlets. Follow the show on Twitter at JimFosterCoc and email JimFosterCoc@gmail.com.
The Rejection Collection, Volume 2, The Cream of the Crap. That's our title today, and the reading line, which is much more educational than Cream of the Crap, is More Cartoons You've Never Seen and Never Will See in the New Yorker. It's edited by Matthew Diffee, who's been kind enough to stop by. And the point that I want to make in this segment is just because crap is part of the subtitle, and I'm excited by that in a way, I guess, does not mean that the Rejection Collection Volume 2 is without structure. To wit, each cartoonist that you've called upon to turn in stuff for this book was required to present to you pictures of his work or her work context.
Yes.
Featuring, in many cases, it seemed to me, the refrigerator.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the sort of scavenger hunt I sent them on.
Oh, you told them they have to show you.
Well, there's 38 cartoonists in this book, and I made them give me 5 photographs, take them themselves. One would be like a self-taken portrait of their head, where they're actually holding the camera. It's sort of the, I don't know if it's the MySpace or the Facebook kind of, this new technology where people are always constantly taking photographs of their own
and we
head.
all have phones that do that.
Right. So they had to do that. Then they had to take a photograph of their hands holding a drawing utensil. And they had to do their feet. And then they had to do their workspace and the inside of the refrigerator.
Well, at least one that I can recall in doing the feet put the drawing pen in their toes.
Yeah. It's interesting. They all sort of took that as a starting point and then were creative on top of it. Yeah, there's some interesting refrigerator contents as well.
Well, the thing that I found with the refrigerator is that cartoonists are not as poor as I thought they were. A lot of wine in those refrigerators, and I expected much more cheap beer.
Yeah. Well, they're a fancy pants bunch. And I'm sure they probably saved up and bought as much stuff they could stock the refrigerator to give the appearance of an opulent wealth.
Now, the other thing is that they've been asked to answer pointed questions, such as, what did the shepherd say to the 3-legged sheepdog?
Yeah.
And that really, opens up a lot of, different kinds of answers, some of which we probably, can't use on this family-type air here.
Yeah, I had no editing power on their responses to the questionnaire. It's what happens when a cartoonist interviews another cartoonist or asks questions of another cartoonist. There's some bizarre questions.
The thing that really holds this whole business together, I think, is what you call the fill-in-the-blank bio.
Yeah. Which
gets pretty darn wild.
Yeah.
Because some of the words that you strewn in that part of the questionnaire, you have "I was born," and then the next thing is jellyfish.
Right. They have to somehow incorporate these little bits and pieces that I put in there. It's pretty amazing how they've done it, though. Some of them gave up. Some of them just scratched it out and didn't follow instructions. But others actually made it nearly make sense. With
they really did. They worked very, very hard on it. And
I found that if you give these guys as cartoonists sort of the setup, they will endlessly surprise you with their creativity.
more than one cartoonist, most notably in my memory, Kim Warp, seemed to have it in for you. In answer to one of the questions, I've got a great idea for a cartoon. Want to hear it? And she answered, no, but Diffee does.
Yeah.
As though you're a little shy on ideas. And then another question, what's the funniest thing that you witnessed, overheard, or came up with that you couldn't figure out how to use in a cartoon?
Yeah.
Her answer to that was, nice try, Diffee.
I'm trying to steal her ideas.
These people were not asleep when they done this.
Well, you get a definite theme of frustration with me, and I think it's just the fact that I've sent them this ridiculous questionnaire and they're forced to fill it out in order to be in the book.
Yeah.
But they do take the opportunities.
The price of being in. If this is what he's going to stick me with.
Right. I'll stick it to him when I can.
Out of sticking him. Now,
I have no respect among the cartoonists, you can tell.
In my careful analysis of the book, one of my favorite questions was the Mankoff question.
Yeah.
If you could ask Bob Mankoff, the cartoon editor, one question, what would it be? All right?
Yeah.
And I like Julia Sweet's answer. Why Mankoff? Why the dots?
Yeah, why the dots?
He draws with
with dots.
It's like he never made it out of cartoon school. He went for 2 nights, learned you could do dots.
Yeah.
This country is suffering from not connecting the dots. Does he realize that? And then another great answer was, why are you always published, Mankoff?
Yeah. Well, what the cartoonists didn't know is when I asked them these questions, they were going to write their ridiculous question to Bob in a theoretical world, but I actually let Bob answer those questions in the end, which is a bit of a surprise, I'm sure, to some of the cartoonists.
All right, more inside stuff, more... Well, actually, I want to get into why some cartoons are killed, all right? And rejection reasons at the New Yorker when we return.
You're listening to Conversations on the Coast with Jim Foster. Now you can find this program on iTunes, SoundCloud, and all your favorite digital outlets. Follow the show on Twitter at JimFosterCoc and email jimfostercoc@gmail.com.
This is Jim Foster. It is Conversations on the Coast, and the title of the book, believe it or not, is The Rejection Collection, Volume 2, The Cream of the Crap. More cartoons you've never seen and never will see in the New Yorker, edited by Matthew Diffee, who's been good enough to come by, and Simon & Schuster's Spotlight Entertainment Division is the publisher, and I'm sure they're very proud. I don't know. I would think they would. I'm proud.
They're a younger, hipper bunch, so I think
they probably understand this.
And I should say, nobody says cream of the crap better than you, Jim. There's a reverence and a
I did elocution as a young boy, and sometimes it just comes in handy-dandy.
Yep.
Now, cartoons get rejected. That's the whole purpose of this book.
Yeah.
And I, as a close reader, I want to object to at least a couple that got rejected, and I don't agree. One of them is a P.C. Vey cartoon. All right, it pictures a man in a jail cell being visited by his lawyer, and the lawyer is saying, they've agreed to drop the charges, but only if you agree never to stuff the turkey again.
Yeah.
Now, that's a wonderful holiday sentiment. Perhaps. Could they turn that down?
It's a little vague, though. It could be very disturbing, depending on how you interpret it.
I think Mankoff and that other guy think too much.
Maybe.
Okay? I mean, this is just Uncle Louie
turkey
puts too much hot stuff.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Sure.
And somebody had to be carted off to the hospital with, arrested breathing.
He put jalapenos in the stuffing.
He put too many jalapenos in the stuffing. And, why should that be? I don't understand. Yeah. No, to me, I have another one.
Well, there's the creepiness of the vagueness of the language is
well, here's one that I think is terribly clear. This is done by Harris?
Yeah, Sidney Harris.
Sidney Harris. Now, this is two very senior citizens sitting in their living room. He has a cane, sitting in a chair. Looks like he may never get up from the chair again.
Yep.
And Mom is sitting in another chair, maybe a rocker, and she's knitting.
Right.
And the caption is, now that the kids and the grandkids are grown, I can get back to doing more erotic embroidery. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
God bless
I think
her.
That could be in there, perhaps.
I mean, if at her age she's still, got an erotic imagination going, I would think that should be in the front part of the New Yorker, right after all that bad political news.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I'll
with
mention that to Bob tonight and see if we can get to the bottom of it. I like the phrase erotic embroidery. That's
I do.
very eloquently put.
I think,
some of these are obviously really terrible cartoons for the New Yorker. They're too rowdy or racy, but I think mostly it's just there's too many of them. Bob looks at too many and some good ones get missed.
You mean he loses his critical edge?
Perhaps, yeah. He just gets in the fuzz of too many.
Yeah,
but there's just not enough spaces for all the good cartoons.
I think that's a question you should ask him, whether he can really maintain his critical edge, or should he bring you in to help him at a good salary?
Yeah, I would.
And benefits.
Sure. Yeah, I could use that.
Okay. Actually. Now you conclude the book with more inside stuff. I mean, what you do in here is really, really exciting, in the sense that you have a whole section on rejection reasons.
Yeah. People always ask me, why are these rejected? Just like you're asking. And I can't really say for sure because I'm not Mankoff or Remnick, but I made my best guesses here.
Reason number 2 is a very good guess. It's too politically incorrect.
Yeah.
And this is, incidentally, is your very own art. Yeah.
Right. I decided I should use my own as examples of what not to do.
Okay. These are 3 Indians.
Native Americans.
Native Americans. Yeah, already.
Right.
I'm in bad shape here. And they all look angry.
Right.
And the third one, or the one on the far right, has inscribed on his forehead and under his nose, "Go Indians!"
Right.
Go Indians!
They all have war paint on, and he's chosen to be a little more.
Yeah. I don't know. You're right. To me, this is less a cartoon about Native Americans and more a cartoon about people who paint their faces at ball games. And we know you watch football, baseball. That's the big thing now.
Yeah.
Paint your face. Yeah. So this is rejected because it was offensive to Native Americans?
Perhaps. I think it's. I think somebody worried that it would be, and that's where the danger is.
All right. Well, at any rate, this book has it all. This really is the inside story. And the gentleman who has given us this book, whose hard editorial work by writing that wonderfully investigative questionnaire, is still doing it in the New Yorker.
Yeah, some of them get accepted occasionally.
At least you were in October. There's one of your cartoons, and it's a nice panel with a short, caption, which is
it's always good. Yeah.
I like. Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's the building, and it's on a very well manicured lawn in front of it, and manicured bushes, and out at the curbside, there's a little sign with 2 words. No soliciting. That's the work of the editor of this book. His name is Matthew Diffee. The book is the Rejection Collection, Volume 2, The Cream of the Crap. This has been Conversations on the Coast, and I'm Jim Foster.
Now you can find this program on iTunes, SoundCloud, and all your favorite digital outlets. Follow the show on Twitter at JimFosterCoc and email JimFosterCoc@gmail.com.